All right, let's talk about joining processes, or really welding is the most common. Joining processes would also include brazing and soldering and even mechanical fasteners and ultrasonic bonding types of processes. But let's talk about welding a little bit, and our same considerations that we looked at for the other processes. Welding is a pretty flexible process, right? If we have a design for something, it's kind of like machining in some ways. If I have a design for something, I can kind of show it to you, and if you're a good welder, you can go right in there, tack it up, maybe come up with a quick fixture and weld it up. So for that reason, maybe we don't need a real high volume. It could be a fairly small volume production process for welding. It could be just one part or a handful. If we're going to automate the welding rather than just kind of a stick welding process, we want a little more automated setup. Yeah, it's going to have to be a higher production volume to invest in a little bit more the automated welding equipment like robotic welding or something. The size, certainly we can weld things of all kinds of large size. It's not real restriction. The features, usually not a big deal, although when you weld on something, of course the weld bead in the joint can be kind of an irregular shape. So we got to make sure that that's okay with the part design, that it's not a real smooth finish or something, unless we come through and machine it later or something. But there can be a little restriction there for sure. The tolerances in surface finish, well, not that great really. When you weld something, it's tough to get it really perfect. So it certainly doesn't have the kinds of tolerances on features that you get from machining. So it's generally a low tolerance process in general. Same with surface finish. Again, unless you're coming up with a secondary process like a grinding or finishing step, the surface roughness is not very good, of course. Lead time, though, no problem. If you want that welded up by this afternoon, I can do it. It's a short, flexible process, so short lead time, typical. Certainly, we are restricted. Melting temperature related, so materials with high melting temperatures, steels and such, difficult to weld. Much more suitable for lower melting temperatures. The strength requirement can be a little bit of an issue because a welded joint isn't always really as strong as a solid joint. Generally not. There's a heat affected zone, and you can have some brittleness or some changes to the structure of the material. So it's not a real, if it compared to a solid piece of steel and then two welded pieces of steel, it's not as strong generally. It doesn't have the same integrity. Selling price, well, there's certainly a lot of things that are welded that are not high price. It doesn't really lend itself necessarily to a high price, although if it's a lot of labor involved, which it can be, it can sink a lot of value into a part and can make it a little bit high price. So a little bit mixed on the selling price. We talked a little bit about the shape and the redesign that might be necessary. Production location, well, you need the expertise, and you got to generally pay labor. Unless it's a high volume that's going to do really an automated robot-type welding process, we're going to want to find somewhere with a low labor rate. And, welding expertise, you can probably find it in most places, but most of the processes are pretty labor-intensive, so we're going to want to consider that. Production rate needed, generally slow. Again, could be minutes for each part, kind of like machining, as opposed to any of those press-based operations where you're getting a part every second or two. Welding is definitely a slower rate relatively. All right, so that's our 5 processes. Hopefully that gives you something to work with in terms of picking one of those or responding when I assign one of those to the part in the notes, and we'll do that for the working session and have you basically defend or argue for that one process and tell me when that would be the more appropriate process or under what conditions. Okay? That's it for now.